Everyone, welcome to this session for the Python. We are trying to learn Python for different applications earth sciences like for crop modeling, for water resources, for hydrology, for hydraulics, for climate change, and it can be used for other things also. There is no restriction, only earth science problem we can solve in this. So today we'll cover the function, how to define the function, how to use predefined functions. So we'll open our book part in the Colab. So we have already used many functions earlier. We'll just try to revise. So we are defining some list, or you can call it array in Python. You can define any part, and we are, let's say, using the type on the foo. So it's telling it's the list class. It's printing. We are computing the length where we use the function called len. So it's telling length is 7. Then we are computing the maximum value in the list. It's telling maximum is 14. So this max, len, type, all these are predefined functions in Python. So there are many predefined functions in the basic Python, or in each of the NumPy, scientific Python, or whichever library we use. The basic idea is to develop some function, and you can use it multiple times. We can also uh, define functions ourselves, whatever we need for our convenience. Whenever we need to do some task multiple times, you can define a function for it, and over time you can enhance feature in function, so it becomes much more user friendly. My thumb rule is, whenever I need some task, do some task 2 3 times, I define a function for it. Even if I compute some simple things like RMSE, etc., I try to define a function for it, and add some basic things which makes like removing the null values, or do things, give the warning. You can enhance many feature into it. So define the function. You can keep in the same function, or you can dump in some library for yourself and you can use it here. So let's take very simple function. We'll define a function where whatever element you give as input, whatever number you give as an input, we'll try to add 2 into it. So this is the way to define a function. We use def, which is for define. We give the function name which we want to make. Again, the rule applies for the how you can define the same names, rules like we had for the defining the variable name. Same rules you can follow. And inside input, you can have one input, you can have multiple input also. To this is the beginning. So we are taking very simple example with one input. Then we are just, and we function may return something, it may not need to return also something. So we'll try different thing. Let's say we define output is equal to, and we run the function. So what is happening here? Our input is fine, so it's calling this function. So which means value of temp becomes 5. So out becomes 7. So it's computing it, but it's not doing anything. If we want, our function can print something. So it's now printing the value. If we want, we can return a value. Let's say we are returning the out. So we get the value. We can do both also. We can print also, we can return the value also, and we can return multiple output also, the way we can take multiple input. We'll go into that. Let's try to see what will happen if we change the value of out temp, the input variable itself. So what is happening? We defined the value of a is equal to 5, and we are printing it to check what value it contains. Then we are giving this value to this function, which becomes temp in our function, which is for temporary variable, and we are modifying the temporary variable. So when we print, we get the value of 7, but again we check the value of a is unchanged, because what happens when we are calling something inside the function, we are defining the variable temporary or temp. So it will modify the value of temp only, not of the a. So sometime even if you use the same name, you need to be careful about which value it will modify, which value it will not modify. With practice you will be able to figure out what is the, you can say, limit where this variable exists, where it can be edited, where it cannot be edited. For time being, typically we should not verify, uh, you know uh, we should not change some variable inside the function. Only we give the output and input, so it becomes very easy to read the code, and it becomes much more usable. So we'll try some other example. So we are importing NumPy library as the variable we called np, and we have defined some np array. Now we can use this add to function, and so you see what is happening in the entire array. We are adding the two. So the benefit of NumPy library is you can do some operation very easily in a single line over the all the elements of the array. So here what we have done, we have defined this function, and we are adding two inside the in the each element of the this defined array called foo. Since in our function we have called this print also and give the output, we are getting seeing this output two times. Of course, there was, for such simple thing, there is no need of defining a function. We could have simply said print foo plus 2. But this is just to learn how this function can be used over the NumPy array. So entire array can be taken as input, and you can do some operations on it. So we'll remove the print part from it. And now let's run it. Okay, we are defining a print here. So what we are doing this function is, we are taking the entire array in this case, and only in the last item, which is defined by the index of -1, we are adding the 2, and it's only printing it. So we take the value, last item is 8, and we are adding 2 to it. We are printing here, and then we are printing it again. So you see it two times, 2-3 times we are doing this. So we can modify only the maybe single item also in the array. We can modify, and we can do something on it. We can print, as we discussed earlier, something. So this functions are the core of the Python or of any programming language. We have just touched to define the what way we can deal with function. As we go with our functions, and we'll be using a lot of function. Of course, we have been using which you are not knowing, these are called the functions. So that we have not written, somebody else has written to make our life easy. Similarly, we can write some functions to make somebody else life easy, and they don't have to start from zero. They can start from something whatever a little bit we have achieved. Yeah, thank you. So see you in the next session.